What's happening here? Oh, hang on. That's a good start. There you go. Ha! Gotcha. All right, here we go. Hello, welcome everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Good lord. What a weekend it's been. Why is it still windy? I'm in the aircraft. It's not supposed to sound so windy. That's weird. Anyways, let's see. Mark, good evening. Mark, I hope you're doing well. And Svenja, greetings to Ireland. I hope you're doing well. Vector, hello. And Ozzy, hello to you. Bob, hello. Aviamar, Flyleather, hello. Gilend, hello to you as well. And Tuxu, hello. I don't know. What is this? I understand that it's like windy outside, but why is it sounding windy in here? Huh? Let me just try something. Let's close the doors. It's still windy. That is a bit strange. Ghost hello. That is strange. Why am I hearing the wind that loud? I don't hear it in here. Okay, interesting. But here I'm hearing it. Is that a bug in the FSLabs? Lilo, hello to you. Thank you so much, Lilo, for the 28 months. Yes, so the C750 tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it because I am hearing some good stuff, yeah. And thank you again. Thank you so much for your support. FS, I don't have FS Realistic installed, have I? No, I don't think I have it installed. Hold on. No, I don't have it. Let me see if I have it installed. FS Realistic. No, I don't have it. Right, yeah, so there's a question regarding how my trip to Switzerland was. It was really nice. Thank you so much for asking. Had a great time there. Right, how do I get out of this? There we go. Yeah, so the reason why I am on 2020 is because 2024 for me is still causing huge issues with performance, especially in combination with streaming. So I've lost a bit of how shall we say patience with 2024, and honestly, there's still so many things not available in 2024. And to me, at the moment, 2024 is still way too overhyped for what it actually does deliver. So MCDU. Yeah, Julian. Settings. You mean options? Sounds. Sound volumes. Yeah, but that's not, no. So unfortunately that doesn't really help. Ah, there we go. I didn't see that. Voice ACP. Voice ACP. What is that? What's voice SCP? Let me have a look here into control options or general options here, sound. That is just really, really, really weird. Let me put this to environment like 60. Yeah, that's better. Is it? Yeah, I think so. So what I can do now is just put the cockpit sound volume just a little bit lower, right? Is that better now? I hope so. Yeah, so my trip to Switzerland was absolutely gorgeous. We had gorgeous weather, and that birthday party was amazing. And my brother, he really knocks these things out of the park with his ideas. The only issue I had was the fact that the elevation was like 5,000 feet, and I thought there's just no oxygen. Oh, it's loud again now. So I honestly thought, you know, I can't breathe really. So even though I feel fit, but it was just too much. Well, I don't go on hikes, right? I don't go on like 20% incline hikes in the cockpit when I'm flying. So that's the thing. So yeah, right, Mark. This is like you know, crazy. I'm getting somewhat kind of. What is this with the sound of this? Huh? What's these wind sounds? That is strange. Anyways, let's go with... No, it's not air conditioning, no hobby pilot. No, that's... You hear that sound here outside. Look, you hear this. Right? It's the wind sound. That's what I mean, right? And then you go inside and you hear the wind now. It just doesn't get quiet. So it seems like we're in the flight deck, we're actually sitting outside. And right now there's no air conditioning. It's just the equipment cooling. That's all. So what I could do, if I put these to override, so I'm kind of killing the ventilation into the flight deck, and you can still hear the wind blowing. Really weird. Anyways, let's hope it all gets sorted out in a minute. Yeah. So like I said, yeah, it's. I mean, the people there were brilliant. You know, it's always so much fun when you have so many wonderful people, funny people especially. You know, in one place, you know, partying. It was brilliant. So. And you know, with the venue there, with the Alps, so we were just south of what's called Heidi Land. So you kind of get a picture of, yeah, Plagiato, I know. I live in Bremen, or near Bremen, so I know what the wind sounds like, but still. This is like too much. Hayden, hello to you. And Cubing Demon, hello to you as well. Right, let me do the following. Let me get the show on the road here. Let's get refueling done. And let's move the departure time to 1740. Here we go. Send. Yeah, the weather was. You know what, Ghost? We were really lucky because we took the flight at 16:55 out of Frankfurt to Bremen, and that was literally the last flight to Bremen because the last flight was then cancelled due to the weather, and we just got away from that squall line that moved in yesterday. So that was very lucky. Now, one thing I didn't hear the refueling truck. Is on its way. Oh, now it is. Now it's in position. Yeah, so the reason is they're only flying like 7 in the morning to Zurich, and then you come back. Oh no, sorry, it's like 10 o'clock. You come like 10 o'clock in the evening to Zurich, and you depart Zurich at 7 in the morning. It doesn't make sense for us, so that's why you flew over Frankfurt. Cool, guys. Topic today during cruise flight is something quite peculiar that we had a discussion about in Discord today, and I am aware that I have a very kind of strict, typical pilot, kind of viewpoint on that. No, not that topic, Avimar, right? But it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic because all you have to do, you have to remain on a factual level, right? Non-emotional. Okay, so just try to argue with facts and not with and the topic we'll be discussing is that go around of the ANA aircraft in Frankfurt at 4:59 and 48 seconds apparently, so 12 minutes before the night curfew ended. Yeah, so guys, so my dear moderators, if things go out of limits, order. Right, that's it. Okay. Yeah, and if that doesn't help, we'll throw some band hammers. Cool. Yeah, so that's the topic today, which we'll do. Yeah, exactly. Where's the order? Cool. So we got the fuel truck, apparently, there. And then why don't I have my viewpoint for the... where's my viewpoint with my... Can I add a external viewpoint? Or not? Probably not. So I can do like these, but yeah, I think that's probably why I can't do that. Nice. Yeah, I know, right? So let's see. There we go. Right, flight plan. So we're flying first of all from... yeah, Bob, right? Send me a picture next time, please. So the first flight is from Lisbon to Ibiza. party airlines today. Flight time is an hour 20. So we have a bit of a cruise flight time to talk about some interesting topics. And then the weather today is here. We got 3:30-16, bit crosswind for takeoff, temporary winds, gust 27, more northerly though. And Ibiza's got 090 at 8, Cabo K 30 degrees, 1011, and nothing really in that we could call a threat or something. Palma de Mallorca is the alternate, few Terran cumulus, but otherwise forecast is fine as well. 240-10, so runway 24 it would be, yeah, so that looks all fine. That looks great, I would say. Ibiza, exactly, Ibiza. Hayden, how have you been? How are you? Nice to see you. So let's see, we got 4.2 tons still fueling, hopefully. Yep, still fueling. Yeah, so more like CBs is like, cumulus nimbus. So that's like the first kind of warning set. But, if it doesn't say thunderstorms, then it's not really that worrisome. So CBs is something where I'm saying it's something can still fly around and that doesn't really close the airport. While thunderstorms will do exactly that. They could, potentially close down the airport for a certain time, right? That's why I see CBs as a first indication. But then it depends on, is it like Prop 30, Prop 40, or is it just few CBs? Or is it going to be, broken CBs? That sort of stuff. yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, honestly. Let me just have a quick look, an overview look of the routing with potential bad weather. So let's import those. And then... Oh yeah, and then we got some great news yesterday as we got home. We got a surprise visit by our older daughter. And she's got engaged 3 days ago, so she's going to get married next year, which is also very exciting news. Awesome. So let me just 09. Yoda says 09.
Now that's how pros do it.
Yeah, my wife will be really happy because our future son-in-law is a fantastic person. And my daughter and him are a lovely couple, so... Well, I didn't do anything, so congrats. I take the congrats, but yeah, like I said, it's like just, an incredible, lovely feeling that you've got two people that, that really fit together and been knowing for each other for some time now as well, so really, really happy for them. So, let's see. Yeah, the routing takes us a bit up towards Madrid. I saw some weird routings today as well. So... If you take like a Eurocontrol routing advisory, then it kind of gets you down below here. Is that like industrial action going on, ATC strike or something? Yeah, Lila, yeah. Victor, thank you. So India 320 had a runway excursion at Mumbai today. Horrendous. Really? Okay, interesting. Also interesting. And Iowa Scotsman, hello to you. Nice to see you. Haley Pilot, hello to you as well. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, we got a little bit of weather in the descent towards Ibiza. But I don't see anything larger. There's no thunderstorms or anything like that, so that should be fine. Coolio. Right, so pinned is the airport map. We've got the... Where's the aircraft? Where's my aircraft? It's not on here. Okay. Then we've got the departure. That should be the Orvet 1 November. And we do have tower online. Appreciate that really very much. Thank you so much for the tower controlling. Thank you very much. Initial climb is level 100, but we're going to get clearance anyways, but that should be 100. Anything else will be non-standard. And we got 4,000 feet to the north, 3,000 to the south. Yeah, nothing too crazy. There's just some restrictions we have to meet, but with the Neo. Oh yeah, and talk of the FSLabs Neo, there has been a an update out. So it's 11.0.1309, and that's the it's the experimental channels. So you have to have the experimental channel ticked in the FSLabs control center to access this update. And it's supposed to be, so they call it a comprehensive interim update. Hey Hayden, thank you so much for 100 bits. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've got a request in for Cape Town, so we'll see. I'll let you know the exact date. And anyone that really plans to come to Frankfurt, let me know, because I will meet up with you guys, 100%. So they did an interim update focused on stability, visual performance, and real-world handling accuracy that continues our dedication to delivering the highest standard of realism, performance, and simulation fidelity. So one of the primary goals was to release improved performance and VRAM usage, particularly using a high resolution or multi-monitor setup. So I'm using high resolution, so that should be good for me. So it should smoothen performance and give better headroom in memory-constrained environments. Good. Also covered some CTD issues. Handling perspective, we work closely with the airline partners and pilot feedback to correct an issue affecting your behavior during landing roll. There we go. Hayden, there we go. Congrats, and you got the 1,000 bit sign now. Thank you so much. Once again, Hayden, thank you so much for your support. That's really, really kind. And Moin, Voyager, wie geht's dir? You have retuned brake effectiveness based on measured stopping distances from real-world A321 aircraft. Okay, these refinements offer more authentic feel when decelerating after touchdown and enhance the overall. Oh well, that could be interesting then for Gibraltar later on. Right, 1,600 meters. It's going to be pushing our stopping margin, to say the least. Okay, so submarine simulator inbound, I would say. We'll see. So they had a wide range of system improvements, including FMGC protections, Neo engine logic, ROPS behavior, very small fixes. Okay, there we go. Right. So that's some stuff they improved on, which is nice. Hey Ali, how are you doing? Cool. That is that. So let's start boarding, shall we? So we got boarding 68 tons, so we'll see how that goes. I really hope that's not going to kill our CG, but otherwise we're going to have to.
Boarding requested.
Cool. In the meantime, also, let me not only entertain you, but let me also get the clearance. So there we go. Oh no. Twitch chat. Hope Twitch is still running, because my upload is okay. And now it says welcome to the chat. Well, thank you. How kind of you, Twitch. So nice. The stream is still up. Fantastic. Cool. ATC request. Pre-departure clearance.
We
got to report our. Oh, hang on. We got to report our TOBT first. So we got to go to VATS dot India Mike /VDGS. And then, hey Vinky, how are you doing? Nice to see you. And yeah, Hayden is there. Got it. So, submit the TOBT. What time is it now? It's now 17:30. So show it realistically 17:50. Submit the TOBT. Cool. So we've done that. So now let's put a call sign in here. Windmill 711. 8 is information. Oh no, he logged off. Oh no. Disregard that. Alright, then we're just going to go ahead with...
Flight 39 proceeding direct to Malbrook.
That's a bit of an unlucky
Ladies and gentlemen,
turn.
welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Infotainment Experience. New subscribers.
So we're going to go with departure 02, and we did say Shorty 96. Shorty, yeah, thank you so much for the 3 months. Shorty, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for your support. So that's the Orbit 1 November. Insert. Then we've got the routing all the way to Ibiza. Arrival. Now it will be runway 06. I don't have any doubts for that. So potentially.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board. Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags,
that is via DMF,
and loose items of clothing.
and the arrival is the VAR
Once you've
route.
safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat.
So let's have a look for the
To help us ensure
arrival.
a prompt departure, we would kindly ask
So the
you to
VAR route
please
3
enabling all remaining
Victor
customers.
takes us to DMF.
Your seatbelt can now be fastened
And then it
ready
should
for
be the
departure.
ILS
This
Zulu
is a no smoking zone.
06 via...
Thank you for
Hang on,
observing
disregard. Zulu, there we go. Zulu via DMF. Yep. So I'm going to take out the Yankee, take out the X-ray. Cool. Hello, MAN. How are you doing? Nice to see you. So that's the Varut 3 Victor. There we go. Varut 3 Victor approach via DMF. Automatically filled in here. Insert. Yes, and the routing is as follows. If you want to have the route. Let me see. Where's my route command? Not rage, but route. So many buttons. So many buttons, so many buttons. So let me do that here. Right, that's the route for the first flight. If anybody would like to fly along. So let me do this. Otherwise I'm going to forget. This should be off. Fueling is completed. Let me also start the APU. Yeah, I mean, no worries. All good. Yeah, so the second flight could be interesting, right? To Gibraltar. It could be very interesting. So, init A page filled out. We're expecting zero fuel weight of 68.8. Well, let's say 68. The block fuel is 6.2. The alternate is Palma, and the alternate fuel is to Palma 1.1 ton. So that's that. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. Have they tweaked the fuel calculations, actually? Distance is 550 miles, and on the flight plan, let's have a look what it says on the flight plan. On the flight plan, it says 554. So the track mileage is the same, which is good. And the fuel calculation is... Yeah, we have not much extra today.
Buona traffic, top 389.
So that's why we expect to land with 2.9 tons, and min diversion is 2.1. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, with the 321, right? I mean, that's why I'm going to take that challenge today, knowing it is somewhat unrealistic. But hey, you know, I hope so, Tombo. I hope so. I really do. We'll monitor that. But initially, right now, that is already very promising, Because that used to be a lot more extra fuel. What? Something closed. Interesting. Yeah, I agree. It was absurd, the values that we had. Let me see what's missing still. So we have board at 94. However,
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow,
welcome on
look at the
board.
cargo.
Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your
That's a
small
lot more
items
cargo
under the
than
seat in front
planned.
of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free, and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready
There
for
we go.
departure. This is a no smoking
Passengers are
service.
boarding.
Thank you for
Let's
observing
close
this
the
policy.
doors. Don't want to kill the FPS too much. Then we want to get the weather real quickly. Because we don't have ATIS. Oh, hang on. Now we got ATIS and ground again. So let me have a look. So maybe he just changed the positions. Departure ATIS. And so we could try to get ATC requested. Pre-departure clearance. It should be information Delta. Gate number is 125. So 125. TOBT 1750. Send. Yeah, Alipay, it is. It is, like I said, it's the experimental version. One of the first things I've noticed is the prediction looks much more accurate at the moment. So that's interesting, for sure. Right, so the clearance should also come here. So right now we have a prelim load sheet. 68 tons, 6 tons takeoff fuel, that looks good. Yeah, so DCL should be available. Let's have a look. Received, being processed. Yippee. Excellent, that's good. That's working, I'm happy. I was going to go look again at the routing real quickly. The map is not available still, okay. But plan mode is available, so let's skip through that. Orvet, Uredi, Dipol, Nando, Obosi, etc. Then the arrival. And that's the arrival routing into Ibiza. That looks good. And then we got the missed approach hopefully as well. Yeah, there it is. There's the missed approach. Looking good. I like it. Nice. Yes, so oh, hang on. Why is it now 1738? I didn't touch it. I said 1750. So that's weird. It keeps resetting it to 1738. Which is pretty much now, isn't it? It's kind of weird. So if I say 1800, it says 1738.
Alpine 275 Alpha from Baltic 7 from Korea. Alpine 275 Alpha from Baltic.
So that looks like boarding is completed, or is it? Let's check.
Cabin crew, thank you. Boarding is complete.
Yeah, there we go. Boarding is complete. And this is also better. You know, guys, remember that we had always 15 people difference between the planned and the actual. So 5 is okay. 5 is okay. We got a bit more cargo than previously planned, but that's 67.6 also okay for me. So everything's in limits. Is there a fuel weight? Although the takeoff weight, that looks a bit weird. So takeoff weight should be, yeah, about 74 or 73.8, which should put that dot more like here. Vinod Rabbit, you just get into the control center. I can't show you my data. I don't want to leak my data. So so then under the settings page, you have your login credentials for the channel selection. And then on the channel, you can flip that between experimental, public, and beta. So set that to experimental, and then save all settings at the bottom. That's important. Then we're almost ready. I'm not sure. Like I said, again, I'm going to try again. Let's put this to 1755. Submit TOBT. It just does 38 all the time. So I can also call up the controller 121755. Lisbon ground Bontat from Windmill 711. Windmill 711. So our current TOBT should be 1750, but I can't update it over that website that's in the info section of your channel.
Windmill 711, we can do it manually for you. Stand by.
Thank you.
Windmill 711, I already updated your TOBT. It should be everything good now.
Okay, obrigado. So let's have a look here at the... Oh. Let's try that again. Because I'm still playing around with that. So we have 1 and 711. 8 is Delta. Gate number 125. Send. Hey, Flying Paul, doing well. How are you? The people on Volanta, I don't know, honestly. That I don't know. I know that some VATSIM ATC are real-world controllers as well. That I do know. It's rejected. Anyways, let's quickly go through the load sheet here. Flying Paul, thank you for the 29 months. Flying Paul, much appreciated. So we have a zero fuel weight, 67.6. So 67.6 and 27.9, was it? 27, no, 29.7. 29, all the way around 29.7. So that's filled in. 400 kilo extra now, that's good. And those wind sounds, I mean, all doors are closed, like, it doesn't make sense. But anyways, let's not get too worked up about that. And the ATA says we have QNH 1016 bit set. Yeah, right. Yeah, Jillian. Organ Aviator, good evening. How are you doing? Nice to see you. So that could go off. So, and Windmill 711, the DCL is being rejected, so requesting clearance via voice, please.
Windmill 711, cleared to destination, correction, information Bravo, QNH 1016, right, cleared to destination, orbit 1 November departure, squawk 0552.
Okay, windmill 711. Cleared runway 02, orbit 1 November departure. And the squawk understood 0552 to confirm, please.
Windmill 711 affirmative 0552.
Obrigado.
Windmill 711, read back correct, report ready.
Wilco, windmill 711. Cool. So that's fine. Now let me just have a look here. If that works. And then performance, we'll do the calculations. So we have, we'll take November 2 intersection. That's a shift. Why is my stick moving here? Nice way. Yeah, we're doing fine, Organ Aviator, thanks. Yes, you have a new logo, indeed, yeah. Kidney logo, correct, yeah. Your FSLabs not working due to flight plan uplink error. Have you checked your settings with SimBrief? Made sure you have the right values in there. So 74.8. Got one more thing to do audio. Let me just try. Isn't there like audio over VATSIM? No, that's all over the normal options here, isn't it? So strange. Yeah, Flying Paul, sure. What platform? Because at the moment I'm more inclined doing it on X-Plane, but I'm not sure what platform you would like to fly on. Yeah, X-Plane 12 would be fantastic. Yeah, sure. What aircraft? So 74.8. Let's have a look. So strange.
Ground hello, Baltic 7 Foxtrot Bremen now with your requesting taxi.
So that's 73.5. Let's do that.
Baltic 7 Foxtrot.
So we'll use 73.4.
124 via Alpha.
And the
124 via Alpha, Baltic 7 Foxtrot.
that was takeoff was 27.2. That's the only thing I don't like, is the fact that it keeps putting it back to the values. I don't know where it gets those values from. 73.4. So then we've got to take November 2 again. Let's calculate that. So config 2, flex 57.3 up. We have enough buffer there. Stop margin about 100 meters if we take the lower V1. That's fine with me. Yeah, TOLIS, for me, TOLIS is the most stable platform. So yeah, TOLIS definitely, Paul. Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to. That's up 0.3.
Captain Crew, please arm your doors for departure, thank you.
Thank you. 57 flex. So pretty much full flex. And we have 167, 170, wow, that's huge. That's huge on the speeds, isn't it?
And welcome to your flight today. My name is Norman.
That sounds like kind of improved climb performance. And the shift is 76.
Vacated 02, reservation extender next to the Baltic head.
With that in mind, please, we do ask for the 2 minutes of your time.
Portugal 83, A319er, taxi to stand 125 Alpha.
So
Can
just
you repeat it for H3?
a quick return plan.
Portugal
Now, as for your
829er,
attention,
disregard
we'll be taking
taxi
through the
to
safety
stand
procedures on this
123
aircraft.
via Alpha.
A safety card is in your seat pocket.
Send 123 via Romeo 2 and
life
Romeo.
jackets and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace,
Portugal 829
brace.
confirm 123 via Alpha.
Hang on, let me just see.
Sorry, I just raised the volume of the expired because I can hear you.
So I already dialed down aircraft. So other aircraft is already way down. So strange.
Adjusted.
Hey, Brennel, wie geht's?
As shown.
Air Portugal 839er, do you hear me better?
839, I just can't figure out what the volume is to follow. Can you write me via chat? Thank you, sorry.
In place with the strap.
Hey, Josh, welcome.
On each side to adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others.
So we got a quick return plan as well.
Jacket from under your seat. Put it over your
And then the last thing we'll do, what time is it? 50, perfect.
And 123, stop 839, thank you, sorry.
Do not inflate it inside the aircraft. When outside, inflate by pulling the toggle. If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube. There is a light and whistle to attract the attention. We also carry...
So we got NDP 2 and engine out is 1900.
Now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open, and seatbelts fastened. We wish you a pleasant flight.
1380, 1380. Cool. Quick briefing. So we are cleared via runway 02. That means taxi out. So pushback. Very likely. And where are we with 125? So we are here. So we could be facing north or face south. So we got to be flexible on that. So it's either Golf uniform, Mike 5 or November 2, or it's going to be Alpha Mike. The orbit 1 November, we already briefed. MPAT 3000, then Papa Tango 75370 or above, EBIT or orbit. Initial climb level 100. Oh, finally, thank you. Yeah, so the thing is that what I briefed should be pretty much the standard routings. Brennel, wie geht's dir? I hope you're doing well. And Josh, you've been flying the FSLabs, so Flight Sim 2020 with PNG, and myself, so my voice set as co-pilot. Okay, cool. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Yeah, brilliant. Good. Let's read the first set of checklist then. This is something that's a bit worrisome. So I have a feeling it's the wind apparently moving the flight controls, but the stick shouldn't be moving. And I have entered a dead zone for my flight stick, so shouldn't move. Hey, Manifest. And Brandon, you're doing well. That's good to hear. Thank you so much, Brandon. Yeah. So I was in Switzerland over the weekend at my brother's 50th birthday. So I really enjoyed that. Cool. Let's see. So we got that. Then, oh, hang on. I wanted a checklist. So let's do checklist. A320. Normal. Let's pin that. So cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins covers removed. Fuel quantity. We have 6,140 kilograms. And it's balanced. Seatbelts is on. Then we've got ADIRS. NAF, and we have bar ref 1016 set 3 times checked, and that's the pre-flight checklist. Oh, cockpit. No, this is cockpit preparation checklist completed. So one thing I want to try. Let me have a look if that works. So we're going to put TCAS transponder on. That's a transponder auto, and then I'm going to push this. See if that works with a pushback.
On ground, good evening, runner to Papa Alpha, stand 208 information.
Manifest, currently I'm on VATSIM.
To Wrocław. Ryanair to Papa Alpha, information Bravo, QNH 1016, break clear to workload. Departure exceed 1 November, squawk 03.
Currently I prefer the FS. Oh yes, by the way, good to think that you remember. I haven't told you about the tech lock. So we're still having that bonding lead issue and the laboratory power socket broken. So both of them are very benign things. Flight history, that was the last landing into Lisbon. And I have set the failure rate to high. So we'll see. And ground again from windmill 711, stand 125, request push and start. We have QNH 1016.
Windmill 711, pushback and start of approved.
Okay, sorry, didn't quite get. Is facing north or south for windmill 711?
Windmill 711, pushback and start of approved, facing north.
Okay, facing north, start and pushback is approved. Windmill 711. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit quiet for me, but we'll see. Cool. So let's do the rest of the items. And then we'll read the...
Portugal 128, stand again.
Before start, park brake is set, takeoff speeds 167, 170, 170, flex 57. Windows doors closed. Closed. The beacon is on, and that's the before start checklist completed. Now, connections. Let's do a quick edit, just so that we have...
Ryanair to Papa Alpha, pushback and startup approved to facing west. Pushback and startup approved facing west. Ryanair to Papa Alpha.
So, I don't know. This is just so stupid with the viewpoint change with the arrows. I still have not found that setting anywhere. I wonder if it's actually Chase Plane doing that. There we go.
Parking brakes, please.
Brakes released, ready for push. All engines clear. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you would see those takeoff speeds when you have like improved climb calculations. So let's make sure we have those at idle. Engine start. Fuel pumps are on. Good power. Let's start engine 1. Oh no, it's doing that again. See, I've got to click like several times really quickly. Now that works at least. Blimey. You can now disable now the attention getters in the options. Hang on, what do you mean? What attention getters?
Waiting your confirmation for you, the engine start.
Right, let's start number 2. That's so stupid. Starting engine 2. So that's the engine start getters. So the boxes. Okay, so why would I get rid of them?
Capital 1928, request taxi.
Hang on.
Last time, say again.
Capital 1928, request
We have a
taxi.
good engine start. You can disconnect.
Yeah, so these boxes, I don't mind. Yeah, and I you know, I fully understand you guys that want full you know, kind of immersion, etc., and you want realism. Fully understand you, you know. So, but I'm honestly not so fussed about if it's 100% exact with the.
Airport 128 taxi to home point Mike 5 runway 02
Right, full up,
via Echo and
full
Mike.
down, neutral, full left, full right,
1928.
neutral, rudder, full left, full right. So waiting for the noticeable steering disconnect to disappear. There's the truck. All good.
Tow truck disconnected. Bye-bye, swing removed.
It does need to be set to flow to low for engine start because the packs switch off automatically unless you're talking about a new procedure which I'm not aware of.
Via Zulu, hold short of Mike and Papa.
So maybe there has been a change which I'm not aware of. After start, anti-ice off, ecam status checked. Then we've got pitch trim. Oh yeah, pitch trim is up 0.3 and rudder trim neutral. Hey, stay sleazy. Does it again. Hello to you. And rudder trim neutral. That's the after start check is complete. There it goes. Lord, what's he doing? Is that he's doing Michael Jackson? Brilliant. GSX. GSX never fails to disappoint. Always good for a laugh. Windmill 711 requesting taxi.
Windmill 711 taxi to holding point November 2, runway 02 via Alpha Golf and Uniform.
Via Alpha Golf and Uniform, holding point November 2, runway 02, copied Windmill 711. So as briefed previously, so we have taxiway.
Renee 2 Papa Alpha, wind cleared off day 2021.
So Alpha, Golf, Uniform, November 2, that's what we calculated.
Taxi to holding point Mike 5, runway 02 via Mike.
Left side clear, right side clear.
For traffic, we taxi via Mike to
Marshall
Mike
Jackson,
5,
exactly.
runway 02, holding point runway 02.
Exactly that. So let's see, is that Golf there? Let me have a look. Yeah, Golf to the left here already. Fantastic. One brake check. Brakes are working. So left turn and then all the way up to uniform. The cabin is ready. So we don't get a call here, unfortunately. We only get... what am I doing here? Right, then we go here and here. Careful fuel truck, takeoff config, test.
Airport show 128, monitoring the com 1 to the simulator 195, bye-bye.
Monitoring the com, vertrouwen naar de obrigado, continuação.
Obrigado. Ryanair 2 Papa Alpha, monitoring the com 1 to the simulator 195, bye-bye.
Good, that means we can read the checklist.
Thank you for service, bye.
So let's do the taxi checklist. Flight controls checked. Flap setting config 2 as briefed. Radar PWS is on and auto. Engine mode selector normal. Ecam status, so takeoff no blue. Or ecam memo, takeoff no blue. And that's the taxi checklist completed. Quick look to the right, quick look to the left. All clear. The Ryanair is departing. So we have the weather radar on our system, which is good. Ooh. Oh, actually, no, it's a TAP first of all. So Air Portugal departing first. And then there's a Ryanair. Look at that windsock. Strong wind from northwest today. Beautiful. Just want to check something real quickly. Yeah, so it's limited to 60 FPS with VSync. It's fine. So next one is November 2. We'll hold short there.
Windmill 711, monitoring com 1 to the simulator 195, bye-bye.
22.8, have a nice evening. Thank you so much from Windmill 711. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Right, November 2. So that's what we did calculate with. Shift is correct then in the FMS, or the MCDU, I should say. He's departing. We're going to go to Unicom or advisory. Then we're going to do the lineup checklist. We've got takeoff runway 02, November 2. TCAS is now TARA on above. And pack 1 and 2, I think that should be off, correct? Because we did calculate that. We have air conditioning off. So that's fine. Air conditioning off. And that's the lineup checklist completed. Cool. Lisbon traffic, Windmill 711 lining up and waiting runway 02 in Lisbon. So we don't want to be too close to the Ryanair, obviously. It's just lifting off there.
Lisbon traffic then at Papa Alpha Airport passing 4,500 feet.
Cool, here's approach sector clear. Oh. Oh. Lol. Guys, you gotta stop doing that. One says Unicom and now tower comes online. Blimey. Tower, obrigado. So good. Bon tart from Windmill 711, November 2, holding short to 03. Sorry, 02.
Windmill 711, goedenavond. Line up runway 02 and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 02 Windmill 7, 1 on. Cool. Right, so we got tower as well now. Fantastic. So let's do a nice lineup here.
Windmill 711 to wind is 3303, 15 knots, clip takeoff, runway 02.
Runway 02, cleared for takeoff, windmills 711. So let me have a look here at the camera here, sterile. Apologies again for the shorts, as always. Hope it's bearable. Oh, hang on. What's that matter with the... Hold on. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's go. Takeoff. Chrono. Manflex 57. SAS runway. Auto thrust blue. Thrust set. $100 knots. It's a lot of right rudder. Blimey. Jesus. E1, rotate. Left input a bit. Pause right. Gear up. Nah. What was that sound? Woo. Sound like the PTU.
Windmill 711, monitoring income 122.8, Shinarap North Cheese.
22.8, obrigado. Until next time, windmill 711.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Flaps on, speed check.
keep your
Here comes
seatbelt
flaps on.
fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated.
Ah, beautiful.
Toilets are located
Right,
at
autopilot
each
is
end
on.
of the cabin.
I want to enjoy the views here.
Smoking is not permitted at any time.
Flaps
This includes e-cigarettes.
0. Speed check. Flap
In
0.
just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase from
That's
a
gorgeous.
selection of fresh food available today. Full details can be found in your in-flight brochure. You can also purchase a selection of hot beverages, together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payment in pounds, euros, most major currencies, and
Right,
debit or
Unicom.
credit cards. The correct change would be greatly appreciated.
Already passing
And if you need
transition.
any further assistance, then just ask us
Standard
as we join you
set.
in the cabin shortly.
So 3,000 above is assured. And then the next restriction, 70 above. Oh, yeah, PAX. Where's my co-pilot? Oh. Oh, hang on. Not this one. There we go. That's fine. All right. Yeah, Fornax, I really had to give some good rudder input now on the takeoff run because there's a lot of crosswind from the left. Let's do some cinematics, shall we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Fornax, apparently now I'm running the latest experimental update. So apparently they have improved the ground friction, especially in regards to the yaw moment on touchdown. Oh. Hang on. There we go. Alt star. Yeah. So let me climb myself up to level 330 for now. So that's climb Alt Blue 330 and want to go 360. So let's do 360. 360 climb. Man, I'm glad those wind sounds disappeared prior to pushback. Good. Climbing with this. Let's get the seatbelts off. And then let's do the last couple items here. RatNav clear. Flight plan fixed page should be clear as well. And then we have a secondary copy active. Brennald, are you here still by any chance? Would be interesting because there's going to be an interesting discussion regarding an interesting happening today. Or was it today or yesterday with the ANA? Yeah, Brennald. So did you read the news by any chance? Let me see if I can find it online. So that's the article here under Flight Radar 24, for example, right? So you can see here the path, right? And so night curfew are strict business at airports across Europe. Fines can be levied against airlines and airports if aircraft arrive too early or too late without special permission. Just last month, the Condor flight was 30 seconds late. Just 2,100 feet from touchdown when the clock struck 0030. This month, an ANA flight had the opposite problem. It arrived Frankfurt seconds too early and was forced to go around for a second landing attempt. The latest incident was brought to our attention by Discover Airlines pilot Ori Gross. So I had a LinkedIn post on that. So the scheduled arrival apparently was for 0320 UTC. So 5:20 local time, right? So they have 5 o'clock as a hard limit regarding the landing time, right? So roughly, so apparently, Brennald, it was only 18 seconds, right? And so here they're saying 30 seconds made a difference between a smooth arrival and a go around. Okay. Now, it caused a really interesting discussion on my Discord today, so for me, it was clear. It was clear who was at fault, right? Now, before I tell you my view, let me say that I'm fully on the same page where the night curfew is there to avoid noise, right, between a certain time frame. So usually it's like 11 p.m. until 5 in the morning local time. So that's about 6 hours of complete silence. Okay. And I understand that having an aircraft, so a heavy jet, go around at 4:59 and 42 seconds causes a lot of noise potentially, and of course causes a lot more pollution because the aircraft now has to go 15 minutes extra, so it burns 15 minutes of fuel, you know, unnecessarily if it had landed, if it had been allowed to land. Now, here's my view, and my view is pretty much a very strict pilot view, okay? So bear with me on this. So for me, the full responsibility, and I mean 100% responsibility for that go-around, lies within the pilots, right? So it's the complete pilot fault. No excuses. None. Why am I saying that? So after they departed, so first of all, on the flight plan, that's the first thing. So they're scheduled to land at a 0520 local. So 20 minutes after the night curfew ends. That's the scheduled arrival time. So they get an OFP, an operational flight plan, where they will see the estimated arrival time. That's something I'm looking at during the briefing. Why? Because let's say this time shows me we have unfavorable winds, and it tells me that the planned landing time is, let's say, 1925, but schedule is 1915. So I'm going to be 10 minutes late. What does it mean for me? It means maybe have a look for a more suitable routing, or have that calculated with a higher cost index. So that way I would burn more fuel, but I would be maybe on time. And then passengers making their connections. Now for this case, we do get, once we're airborne, we do get a very, very nice detailed calculation that tells us if it makes sense for us to increase the speed or not. But for me as a pilot in the pre-planning process, right, since when I'm airborne, I can't refuel. So I have to take that into a case fairly early on before we even fuel the aircraft, right? Now, the opposite was obviously true for the ANA flight. So instead of 0320 UTC arrival time, block time, normal block time, they probably had a arrival time at 0300. Okay. So that tells me, oh boy, we got lots of tailwind. Well, that's cool. So how about I planned the flight with an even lower cost than X, right? Or if that's already calculated with the minimum cruise speed, like let's say long range cruise speed. So if that's the case, well, then I'm going to call Operations Center and say, hey, can you guys give me a TUBT at 1735 to allow me to depart 10 minutes later? It's an option, right? So that way I'm not wasting fuel on the ground, taxiing out very slowly. I'm just going to delay the off-block time by 10 minutes. But again, I would have to call operations for that, right? And I'll tell them the reason is that we have a potential arrival time before the night curfew ends, should we get any shortcuts, let's say, during the flight. Okay, so let's say now we got the fueling done. We are potentially aware that we're going to be arriving very close to the curfew hours. And guys, I've been there. I've been there many times, especially on the 747, many times. So we're already triggered, right? We're already aware of the potential bust in the night curfew. Okay, so we depart, we take off. And so let's say taxi out was exactly as planned, or maybe a tad faster. We get airborne. Then we'll check if there is another wind update maybe in the meantime. So every 6 hours, there is a wind update for the data. Update for the wind data. So we will uplink the update. And then we got a cost index in. And then we're going to have a look at the arrival time. And guys, this arrival time in the real aircraft is actually extremely accurate. It doesn't really move much, simply because on most routings these days, the uplinked wind data is extremely accurate. The only time when it's not so accurate is on routes that are not so frequently traveled on, right? So, but let's say Asia, certain routes from Asia to Europe, or the US to Europe, these winds are very accurate, really, really accurate. Okay, so now I'm looking at my FMS and I'm saying, whoops, it says 0458. So 0258 UTC. So now what do I do? Well, what options do I have? Can I reduce the cost index even further? And here's the thing. You have to do that early. The earlier you do it, the more options and the more kind of possibilities you have to get the ETA into limits. Okay, so we do that. Okay, so now flying slower, the ETA is 0404. Oh, let's say 0304 UTC. So 0304 UTC. Okay. So we continue to fly and fly along, and then suddenly, you know, in the arrival, we get a shortcut. A really nice shortcut. So now I'm implementing the shortcut, and then suddenly, oh, it says 0258 again. And I'm like, darn, right? I did everything in my power to make sure that I'm 2-3 minutes past the night curfew hour, right? So my goal would always be like 0302, 0304 or something, right? Give myself 2 to 4 minutes of extra buffer, right? But now, because ATC was so generous to give us a nice direct in the approach, I'm seeing 0258 UTC. So guys, so what's my option now? Yeah, exactly, Winky. Yeah, you could say to ATC, you know what, guys, I appreciate your direct, but that will put us on ETA at 2 minutes before the night curfew ends. Is it okay if we continue on the standard routing? Right? Yeah, so that's one option. Yeah, Geep, exactly. Hello, Geep. How are you doing? So, Geep, yeah, extend, get a delay vector, right? No, ATC can't decline. The ATC can't decline that because they can't force you to land early, right? Now, let me get one point across, guys. ATC has very strict rules. So ATC knows that, and these are very clever, well-trained people. They know the German authority, so usually that would be the Hessische Verkehrsminister or Verkehrsministerin, that does put these strict night curfew rules in place. Why am I saying that's the authority? Because if you have delay during the day and you want to depart later than 2300 UTC, 2300 local in Frankfurt, you have to get a exemption. And ATC doesn't allow you that exemption. What ATC does is ATC telephones the office of the Verkehrsministerium, right? So the transport authority, and for every flight that wants to depart beyond 23 local, every flight, there is no general permission. Every flight has to ask for permission to depart later than 2300 local. I've been there. I've been there many times. Right? So, in Frankfurt, I'm saying, Winky, in Frankfurt. So, I've stood there at the runway, really, really pressing my thumbs, hoping I'm going to get that exemption. Because I've had colleagues next to me not receiving exemptions. They had to go back and get the people back off board. And their flight was cancelled. I've had that. So, luckily, Aviamar, I never got declined. So, I always got out, but I can tell you it's a nail-biting situation. Right. So, the opposite is true for an aircraft that, that is potentially landing before the night curfew ends. Now, can ATC judge your exact touchdown time? No, it can't. And the tower controller issuing the landing clearance, that's not their duty. It's the duty of the pilot to make sure the aircraft lands past the night curfew, so that the night curfew ends and then you land. If you, as the pilot, cut it so close because he didn't slow down in time and he didn't get delay vectored or he didn't do the 360, whatever, right, then it's not the responsibility for the tower controller, right? Because the tower controller is not allowed, he doesn't have the jurisdiction to say, oh, I like the voice of that pilot. You know, he's a buddy of mine, so I'm going to let him off the hook, and I'm going to give him the clearance at 045940, and allow him, just him, to land before the night curfew ends. If he or she does that, potentially they will be, you know, putting themselves into a position where they could be fined, and those fines are expensive. We're talking about several thousand euros in fines that that person has to pay for himself or herself, right? So, of course, that controller would never, ever give you a clearance before the night curfew ends unless, and here we go, unless an aircraft declares emergency. Mayday, 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 because then that plane needs to land ASAP. And that will be the only time you will get an exemption and then an early landing clearance, right? No, we never get down to the second ETAs. It's only minutes. And that's why, Avimar, and that's why I'm always aiming for, you know, let's say 0302, let's say. Or if I'm you know, if I'm aware of the fact that I still have all of my transition in the arrival route, right, and I'm aware that at nighttime, right, I never ever fly this, you know, the whole transition, I'm bound to get a shortcut, and by my experience, yeah, after the curfew, sorry if I said before, so after the curfew, right? So by my experience, if I know that I'm going to get a shortcut, you know, then I'll make it 0305 or 0306. Right. Hey AJ and Shakil, hello to you. So again, in my opinion, and again it's just my opinion, right? Take it as you wish. In my opinion, it's the pilot's responsibility completely to make sure that the night curfew is, you know, is not busted. No, Geep, no, normally not, because you as the pilot are, you know, you're responsible in reading airport information. Let's see, can I get, how do I change the... Ah, there we go. So I'm, as a pilot, responsible making sure that I read everything that you have in the in those AOIs, right? So let's see. So we got where's my arrival info? So hang on. Taxi. Yeah, it's not approach. Where's usually it's taxi, isn't it? Somewhere. Airport, taxi chart, airport, taxi chart, airport info. That's interesting. Yeah, but I can't access general info here, can I? That's weird. Yeah, but anyways, under general information, so I'm pretty sure in the normal app, in the Navigraph app, normally
Ladies and gentlemen,
you can get
full
the
advantage of your tax-free allowances today
the
and
data.
make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection.
Yeah, so the reason for the noise abatement, yeah, that's why we have those curfews.
Opportunity to shop and save from the comfort of your
So there's people that live near the airport. At some point, they went to court.
And just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
Yeah, somewhere in there, Gilend, exactly. So they went to court, and it was either a court ruling or it was a a contract being made that that people will have a complete piece of quiet section between 23 local and 5 local. Arimar, thank you. Okay, well there we go. So you have those night curfew. Hey Florian, so you have those night curfew hours, and so the pilots don't have an excuse. It's written. Right, it's there, and you as the pilot are obligated to read those infos. Right. So I'll give you an example. We were late due to weather arriving to Düsseldorf. Now Düsseldorf has a night curfew. Is it 9 o'clock departures and 10 o'clock arrival? It's really strict in Düsseldorf. So we arrived literally so close to the ending of the normal operating. So just before the night curfew started for arriving traffic. I think it's the other way around. It's like 9 arriving and 10 departing or something. I think it's even something like that. So the tower then said to us, "Hurry up! You have 2 more minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to call you to go around." So he already gave us a warning saying that he will be unable to provide us with a landing clearance if we don't touch down prior to the night curfew. Right? So, if the tower in Frankfurt this morning would have kind of already thought that the aircraft is definitely going to be ahead of the night, before the night curfew ends, they would have maybe told the aircraft or the pilots in the approach already to slow down, to make sure that they keep or that they land after the night curfew ends. So it's 10 p.m. depart and 12 p.m. arrival. Is it really? Well, then maybe for a couple of years ago it was a lot stricter in Düsseldorf. Yeah, AJ, I know, but that's a different discussion, right? So, I'm just discussing the mere fact that we have certain night curfew restrictions. And again, I am just a pilot. I'm not a lawyer. I don't make these contracts. I don't make these rules. I've signed a contract and I've got a license where it says I have to obey these rules and restrictions, okay? So, and if I don't, well, then I get fined, okay? That's just a kind of a playing rules. And if I don't like it, well, then I may have to, go and find another job or something, right? It's just, I don't make the rules. I have to enforce them, especially as a captain. Yeah, it always sounds a bit silly if you just say I just fly the plane, right? But I mean, again, I don't have the superpowers, right, as a captain, right? So the only superpower I have is if I have an emergency, I'll call in Mayday, and wow, that opens up all possibilities. That's the reason why you have ATC in the tower during night curfew hours. That's why you have people at the fire brigade. You have ambulances available at night curfew hours for that very reason. Hey Alpha, that you could have an aircraft in an emergency situation that needs to land in Frankfurt at 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So, yeah, it is literally that simple. Hey, Ted Barker. Now, it's not my duty and it's not my area to judge if it makes sense to send an aircraft into a go-around 18 seconds before the night curfew ends. That is outside of my jurisdiction, right? I can say it doesn't make sense because it does burn a lot more fuel. It causes a lot of noise, and it's just 18 seconds. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it makes, you know, I don't think it's in anywhere kind of in balance, right, to what it causes in financial damages and in economical damages. But again, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that me as a pilot, I am responsible to maintain the aircraft within all its limitations, but also I have to make sure that I stay within other limitations like night curfew or normal operating hours limitations, right? So for me as a pilot, the whole discussion could be over in seconds. All right? But I understand people trying to put in common sense into this equation, but it doesn't work. It's just pointless to discuss that. Okay? So then somebody asked me in chat, and it's a good question. He said, well, then what do you think can be done to avoid such a situation in the future? And I said, well, for example, and it's just an example, what you could do, you could write down a rule that allows ATC, so the tower controller, to issue a landing clearance if it's very close to the limits of the night curfew, saying, for example, you are clear to land, be advised you're landing ahead of before the night curfew ends. You can land, however, you may be fined for doing so. And then, so if the pilot decides to land, he or she then has to file a report to the authorities and explain why they were unable to adjust speed and the arrival time, and then busted the night curfew hours. Oh yeah, Gilend, absolutely. The fine is horrendous. The fine is very expensive. So again, you know, you cannot expect air traffic control. Hey Ted, how are you doing? Nice to see you, Ted. Guten Abend. So you cannot expect ATC to issue a clearance which is against the rules and regulations, because then they're going to put themselves at risk of getting fined. Right? These are the rules. Even if you think that they're stupid in that case. Hey, Trosport. So yeah, that was the whole discussion, really. So for me, like I said, a little bit provocative. For me, it's a no-brainer. Right? It's my responsibility as a captain to make sure that I keep the aircraft in its operational limits. That includes time limits. Hey, Tornado! Greetings to Stuttgart. I like Stuttgart. How are you doing? Let's do some nice outside views here. Exactly. That's also what I said. Well, let's say you allow an aircraft to land at 18 seconds before the night curfew ends. Well, where do you draw the line then? 23 seconds? 40 seconds? 47 seconds? Where is your line then? No, the line is 04 59 59. Right? That's the limit. So 05 00 00, that's the earliest touchdown time. Simple. Right, just get my water. Hang on. Yeah, I think you know, Polaka. I think that the reason for the discussion comes when you mix common sense into aviation, right? So yes, there are areas where you use common sense, but it's not when it comes to you know, time limitations, right? So that just doesn't work. So one of the things we pilots learn early on is to not ask about, you know, does it make sense or not? Trust me, there are so many things in aviation. If you start thinking about, does it really make sense, then honestly, you're gonna go mad. You're gonna go crazy. So yeah, flying ball. Hey, Tail West, nice to see you. Yeah, Tail West, you know what? I made those announcements very often as well, as we were getting close to the evening departure night curfew, right? So I would make several announcements saying very politely, guys, you know, you can help us. We you know, we're a bit in a you know, tight schedule here, and you could help us to take the seats very quickly, because if we don't get, you know, pushback within the next 15 minutes, then you know, I can already warn you that we may not get takeoff clearance later on, and that usually is fine. People understand, and they do help to take their seats quicker, and you know, for us to get going. Live happy and not complying to it. Well, ask your you know, your bank account after you've busted, you know, once you got 3 noise, you know, complaints, and then fined, you know, 20,000 euros. Then we'll talk again. If you're happier not complying with them. I doubt it. And Tay West, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Alrighty, let's have. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go here. So let me have that again. So it says now EFOP 2.9 tons, which is great because it means that the fuel flow figures seem to be better now. Although, I mean, it's still 1,040. I mean, that's still not a really, you know, highly realistic. Because on the flight plan, it actually says 2.33 tons per hour. Hey, Wes, you doing good? Yes, thank you. I'm enjoying my free time. So I went to Switzerland for a couple of days with my wife. We met up with my brother's family. So he turned 50, and he had a big celebration there in the Alps. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, you can. No, yeah, that's fine. You're a subscriber, so you can post things. I don't mind. Right. Let me have a quick look at the fuel check here. So November Victor Sierra. We were there at 1845 with 4 tons of fuel. So let's have a quick look here. So we departed at 10 past. So 1810. And then we were supposed to be 34 minutes. So 44 is when we're supposed to be at November Victor Sierra. And we were there at 45, so 1 minute late. And we had 4 tons and were supposed to have 3.2 plus contingency, which was 600. So that's not bad. That's not far off. And we're supposed to arrive in Ibiza with 2.1 tons of fuel. I didn't take on any extra fuel, but if we don't burn the min cont, then it will be more in line with 2.6, 2.7 in that area. Oh, nice! You got a rotation Milan, Nice, and Geneva. Hey, especially Nice. Nice is nice. I'm sure you've been there, so. There we go, overhead Spain. In real time. With real weather. Alright, let's have a look. Airports. So we have... Where is... Probably passed Madrid already. Hang on, let me just check here. Navigraph. Let's do this. And here we are. And that should be Madrid here, right? Yeah, Madrid, right? Madrid. Barajas. There it is. There it is. So it should be about 7 o'clock. Somewhere here. Oh yes, please tail west. Please do. Looking forward to it. Tournament. Well, I mean, so really, the only thing limiting is the Microsoft platform. I know Bruno doesn't like to hear that, but for me. You know the flying feeling, so hand flying it. I know if there's a way to make it feel realistically, then they will nail it at some point. And we see Phoenix having the same issues, trying to get the flight model working. Now, somebody was asking earlier when to flare the 321. There isn't really a single kind of method, because it would imply, so if you only had one method you want to apply every time, it would mean that you have to be at the 50-foot point where you pass the threshold with the exact same, perfect values every time, meaning the pitch, the speed, the sink rate. All right. So, sure, if you're that good, if you're so perfect that can nail that every time, then you could, for example, always start with the normal same flare input, right? So the same time input with the flare, and then land the aircraft. The thing is, that doesn't happen all the time, right? So let's say you're coming down, instead of 700 feet per minute, you're coming down at 1,000 feet per minute. Well, if you pull at 30 feet with the same input you do when you have 700 feet per minute, well, you're going to have a hard landing, right? So you're going to have to find your own personal way of adapting to those different values. And that's why it requires experience. So the more landings you do where you have values outside of the norm, the bigger your toolbox gets and the more reliable that toolbox gets for you to land the aircraft nicely and safely. So if I say to you, well, start your flare at 30 feet, well, then you're going to tell me, black box, that doesn't work. I always flare too long, or I always slam it. Right? So, yeah, again, I can't tell you when to flare exactly. I flare when I think it's time to flare, and I do that amount of stick input that I think at that moment is required. Do I always get it right? No. Hence, sometimes I'll grease it, sometimes I'll slam it, and sometimes I'll flare it way too long. So, yeah, Mark, right? You're trying to get some plus points for our next shared flight or something. Trying to get some bonus points here. Doesn't work, you know that. So, yes, please. No, it doesn't work. You know me, Mark. You know me. So, yeah, again, yeah, like Nikki says, right? It's just practice. Right? So, if you ask me for a pro tip, right? So, for example, I remember flying the A321. If it's very heavy and you're landing somewhere at higher elevation, or let's say it's very hot outside, or I'm in the approach and I'm already seeing that the horizontal stabilizer is already trimmed up 4, then I may, and I'm right on speed, so I don't have, oops, no, I just turned the trim wheel, hang on. Autopilot 1. So I'm coming in and I know it's hot. I've got a very heavy 321 and I'm very, exactly on the the approach speed, only 5 knots above VLS. Well, I may just start the first little input at 40 feet. Right, and then see how the aircraft already reacts to that. Because if it doesn't move at all, right, if it doesn't change the flight path at all, then I'll be at 30 feet already, slightly panicking, right? And then my next input will be a bit bigger to make sure that I'm not going to slam it into the ground, right? So it is difficult, and that's why it takes a lot of practice. And that's why pilots need a lot of training. All right, it's conditions in the real world, in reality, aren't as uniform as you have here in your flight sims. These different things can be so tricky, and every airport has their specialities. And again, you will only learn those by flying there and getting the experience. Yeah, Nikki, right. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if that's not a very satisfactory answer for you guys, but that's just the way it is. Geep, you got your AB9 last week. GG's. How did you mount it? Geep, did you get like a Monster Tech mount for the desk or something? Yeah, but AVMR thrust is the same thing, really. So if you're doing manual thrust, so on a very heavy 321, I wouldn't cut the thrust too early. For example, I wouldn't cut the thrust and then start pitching up, right? Because then you get to the point where you're out of airspeed, out of thrust, and out of ideas, and that's a bad combination. So You want to do the pitch first, see how the aircraft reacts, and if you're happy that the aircraft reacts, right, and you've got to get some nice cushion below the wings, then retard the thrust. Now, if you like 10 knots overspeed, well, then you could cut the thrust a bit earlier or a bit quicker. All right. Now, the important thing is, though, that with touchdown, you have the thrust levers in the idle setting, in the idle notch. Or, you know, on the Boeing, you have the thrust levers fully in the idle. Because a lot of the aircraft have a certain logic with the spoilers that may prevent spoiler activation or proper spoiler activation or reverse activation if the thrust levers aren't completely pulled back. So that's really, I don't like it when pilots land with, you know, residual thrust, meaning not idle thrust. I mean, like, you know, having, you know, just added a bit of pilot thrust, if you like, and then after touchdown to pull the thrust levers to idle. I don't like that, and we get taught not to do that. So Geep, you got a desk clamp from Mosa. Okay, and is that sturdy? Is that good? Are you happy with that? Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to check if we have ATC here. No, we're just south of that sector. Okay. So, oh, there's some weather in the northern part of the island. Interesting. Okay. Received messages, no information. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go with the METAR. So we'll get the METAR for destination and alternates. If there's no threats there, then that's fine. It's good. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, Geep, because I know that a lot of people, when I say a lot, I mean a couple of people already asked about, you know, the clamp. Does it damage the desk, for example? Does it leave marks? Or how would you avoid that? Would you put like a bit of piece of plywood in between or something? You know, those sort of things. Those are the questions that I see on my Discord from time to time. Right, beautiful. 0090 at 8. Then we've got 28 degrees in Ibiza. And we have 1012. No significant change for the next 2 hours. Palma de Mallorca, the alternate. Oh, the wind has shifted. Look at that. Now they've got 060. So 06 in use, which is good because that means it's more or less a straight in from Ibiza. But also no threats in the forecast, so good to go there as well. So what would it mean if I say, well, what do you mean if you have threats? Well, if I have threats in the weather report, so for example, thunderstorms or fog or you know, visibility going below certain limits, then I'm going to put the final time to 45 minutes and then see how much extra time I have. And the reason for that is because if you have conditions where potentially you have a lot of aircraft going around and diverting, you want to have more buffer at your alternate, right? Because 30 minutes remaining flight time at an alternate that has lots of traffic, and then, you know, if the final time, the ETA, the estimated landing fuel goes below the final time, so below the 1.3 tons here, you got to call in the Mayday, and that's always a bit. You've got a lot of paperwork coming up in that case, so I'll try to avoid that. 06 is the landing runway. 008, 28, 1012, the landing weight. Let's have a quick look here. Quick glance here at the landing weight. So currently we have 70.9. So we'll take 70.4 should be fine. Well, let's see. If we get a shortcut, 70.5. We've got air conditioning on, anti-ice off, config. Well, it's 2,800 meters. We're quite heavy, so we'll go with full config. So automatic low means 2,600 meters factored. it offers me a taxiway delta at 2,400 meters. So that looks like a nice combination. Let me quickly have a look at the airport chart here. Oops. So, I don't know where they got delta from. Don't know where that data comes from. I don't have any delta information there. So let's go have a look at my infos. Let's see if mine are a little bit more accurate. So we have Echo 4, and that's a bit. So Echo 3 would be okay, I think. So let's do Echo 3. Yeah, it's this one there. So maybe if we don't flare for too long, Echo 4, otherwise Echo 3 is fine. And then to the apron. So that's perfect. All right, and the approach, we're going to shoot the Zulu ILS 06. Minimum for that. Charlie aircraft, 260 feet. 260, straight in landing. 260. Perfect. All right, 260 it is. So, performance. Let's start descend. 260 bar road. Config full. Alrighty. So, we're going to go now, descend out blue. I'm already a bit high in the approach. Going to put a bit of speed brakes out. Careful with VLS. I don't want to go into VLS here. Oh. So let's make sure we stay outside of the VLS band. Fantastic. Constraints. Bit of shaking going on with the speed brakes out. Shake, shake, shake. Brake low selected. Nikki asked, what do you say about Microsoft Tower Columbus CB and thunderstorms? I see that really tiring clouds. Yeah, I think in 2024 it gets a bit better. But I agree. The whole thunderstorm simulation is still a bit meh. Hey James, hello. Yeah, Fishkop, hello, wie geht's? All good. I mean, we've still got a second flight coming up, so this is the first flight for the day. So we're going to land in Ibiza in about 25 minutes. And then the next flight is going to be from Ibiza to Gibraltar. That should be chase plane, yeah. This should be chase plane. I don't think the FSLabs comes with it automatically, but I could be wrong. Okay, so Lilo says Microsoft Flight Sim. Is it just 2020, Lilo, or is that 2024 better? It's just one cloud type. You're just ordering sushi. Nice. Well, at least the sushi can't get burnt, right? Akotarma says you set that 339. Well, that's a challenge for me. Oh, really? 2024 as well? Okay. That's a bit weird, isn't it? So here we are. We're just going to pass the coastline here. And... Dixer, good habit. And then... the next flight will not real time. I'm not going to fly there in darkness to Gibraltar. That's no fun. We'll do a daytime flight to Gibraltar. But the landing will be challenging. Now, let's see. Is anybody landing? I'm not sure why. Genuine Big, why you're landing 2-4? Hang on. Did I miss something with the wind? The wind definitely says 06, really. Let me have a look, MAN. Let me have a look for the... let me do a new flight plan then. Let me make a new flight. Right, so we're now into the normal path again. I'm going to dial down the minimums. Well, first of all, we're going to set flight level 100 here on path again. And then we've got a restriction here. VAR route will be 100 above. Then India Bravo 910, max 220. Let me have a quick look here. Max 220. And above 3,000 feet. Correct. Then we've got Zizdu. Between level 100 and 3,000, max 220. Then 911, 3,000 above to 10 knots. Yep. 12 between 70 and 3,000. Let's have a look. Yeah, 70, 3,000 is correct. To 10 knots. And then we've got 930, 65 down to 3,000. Correct. Speed to 10. And then DMF at or above 3,000 to 10 knots. So these restrictions are all correct. And then we got the Zulu ILS. So we got 3,000 DMF, 3,000 TVOM or above, I mean, and Osnuk 3,000 and then 2,000 at 16E. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the above in, however, the final fix, I'm going to put 2,000 exactly at. Right, so now the FMS can calculate that. Thank you much, Avimar. Thanks for the ATIS. Appreciate that. James, you ask, you finally registration, flight school, wait for a long time to get into school. Nice, James. You got a starting date already. Or is it just the application for now? But I mean, it's exciting nonetheless. Very happy for you. Happy to hear that. Yeah, so you know, I'm happy with the restrictions being at or above prior to the final descent or the final approach point. But for me, the final approach point doesn't make sense because, you know, if it says 2,000 or above, it just doesn't make sense to me to have that in the FMS. So for me, that is a absolute, you know, kind of, I have to be at 2,000 at 16 E's. And I make sure I have, you know, the proper configuration for that. So I just want to avoid the FMS calculating, oh, it's much better to be here at 2,500 feet, right? No, I just want to make sure. Again, it's just my skepticism regarding, you know, what the FMS does in the background there, right? So you could call me overly careful or something, but oh, it's in Canada, James. Okay, and it's expensive. Yeah. So once again, yeah, wishing you all the best for that, James. All the best. How many theory lessons should a good AT offer for the PPL? Oh wow, honestly, that's hard to say. That's hard to say. PPL. Anybody just did the PPL somewhere in Europe? You know, so that you could comment on that, because I have no idea how many theory hours would be good. Right, let me get back to my flight plan. So it's going to be Lima X-Ray Golf Bravo for Gibraltar. It's going to be a 321 Neo. And we'll take the LEIB, of course, no ACTs. It offers me, let's see what routing is the best, really. So somebody filed the routing on VATSIM like this. Let me have a look here, MAN. Does that match up with your routing? Out, direct, Resnu. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, okay, MAN. We'll take that. We'll take that. Cool. And what's the wind at Gibraltar right now? 240-14, so westerly winds. And I think that means it's going to be more a straight in 27, isn't it? But that's just the way it is. Hey, Caleb. So Caleb answers where he is. It's 10 days full-time in the classroom for the PPL. Thanks, Caleb. And ATC Bear, nice to see you. Greetings to Berlin. How are you doing? Right, so we briefed the arrival routing, the approach.
Good evening, Captain Black Box.
Good evening, ATC Bear. And once again, thank you so much for the 14 months. I hope you're doing well. Missed approach will go 2 miles, well, runway heading to 800 feet. Turn right, but not before 2 miles from the ILSDME. Oh, disregard. No, 2 miles from the Ibiza VUR. Max 185 knots, heading 172, and then intercept follow radio 121 outbound from Ibiza VUR to 70 Ms. And then turn right on 90 Me arc until crossing 150 radial. And then we'll turn intercept 163 degree radial, climb 3000. Blimey, that's a complicated misapproach. So we have 2,600 feet available, apparently. And we require... So we have 2,800 available, and the landing calculation says we need about 2.6 factor. So that's about 200 meters buffer. Not too much flare time, but a bit flare time for sure. Should be fine for then the Echo 3. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Very well indeed. Cool. Anything special? Threats? Not really. Let me continue down now to 70. So we have to send out blue 70. No, weather is okay. Not seeing much of threats there. And there's the island, Ibiza. Look at that beautiful sunset. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Oh. That's gorgeous. Lovely. A zip of water. Just been cycling prior to the stream today, so it's really, really humid. And there were some thunderstorms on the way and some rain, but they have dissipated now pretty much, so looks like we're going to be not getting any rain or anything again, just like yesterday. It's a beautiful view, isn't it? Ibiza traffic. Windmills 711 currently 25 miles out. Going to fly the Isla Zulu 06 in Ibiza. Oh, hold on. No, we got tower. So we now have ATIS and a tower. Yeah. Caramba. 2665. Thank you much for coming online. Barcelona Control, buenas tardes from Windmill 711. We are passing 7,800, descending 70.
Ryanair 6 Papa Barcelona, hello. Continue approach number 1. Contact Tower 118505.
Tower 11805, Ryanair 6 Papa Papa.
Windmill 0711, very good afternoon, identified, continue descent 3, correction 4,000 feet, QNH is 1012.
Thank you much. Descending 4,000 feet, QNH 1012, and we are just now checking information. Bravo, thank you.
That's correct.
Level 217, passing 6, level 067, descending to 5,000 via the Cordy once your arrival.
Lufthansa 217, Barcelona. Good evening. Continue descend 3,000 feet, QNH 1012, cleared ILS, runway 06.
Interesting that it says 3,000 feet high. I've got 36 miles to go.
Flight level 3,000 and QNH is 101.
I'm already below 70, so that's restriction there. It's kind of weird. That indication, I don't know what to make of this. This doesn't make sense to me.
Hello Ryanair for Lima Delta, inbound Mitos, climbing through flight level 100.
Ryanair 4 Lima Delta, Barcelona identified, continue climb flight level 240.
Climb flight level 240, Ryanair for Lima Delta.
Cooling on, so to that. And now that we have the QNH set, Jenny Big, humid here too, rained pretty hard, okay. And Scrapman, hello to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing.
Well, the Zulu,
Your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside.
I'm going to go with flaps 1 here to meet the restrictions. So the Zulu approach has those waypoints, DMF, TVOM, for example, that was on our arrival routing. So that kind of closes the routing. So if I take, for example, the Yankee approach, you see, that's kind of a standard procedure where we overfly the airport
and Ryanair 4D
and then do a procedure turn.
Cleared Rookset 2 Mike arrival, expect ILS runway 06 left.
Rookset 2 Mike arrival, expect an ILS.
Hey, Lilienthal.
Runway 06
You get?
left, Ryanair for Lima Delta.
Right, there's an aircraft on final beautiful sunset. Fishkop, you bought an e-bike. You were so overmated, I wanted to ride from Weder to Glückstadt. How far is that? Of course, yeah. I could have told you that.
Lufthansa 217, contact Ibiza Tower 118.505.
Of course you have to charge the battery.
118.505. Thank you, boy.
Control, buenas tardes, Walling 17 Yankee with you.
Volotea 17 Yankee, Barcelona, hello, squawk 6231.
All good, Lilienthal, that's good to hear. Gibraltar, I think it's the RD preset, I think it is. And I know it doesn't have that good of a ranking. 50 kilometers, lol, and that's without the battery. Oh god.
Muy buenas, Barcelona Control Sur, Postman 212 Yankee a 3 millas de tordo, nivel de vuelo 35.
Postman 212 Yankee, Barcelona, muy buenas. Contacto radar, nivel de vuelo 350, continúe según ruta
Contacto radar, love that. So let's go with the approach checklist. Power ref 1012.
Volotea 17 Yankee identified.
Set
continue
3
flight
times.
level 3060.
Seatbelts on,
Flight
minimum
direct
barrow,
matic.
260 feet. Auto brake low, engine mode selector normal, and that's the approach checklist complete. We have the dry set here for the
Volotea 17 Yankee identified.
brake coefficient and ILS key on.
Level 360.
The ILS is identified. India, Bravo, India.
Lufthansa, correction, windmill 0711, cleared ILS, runway 06, report established.
Cleared the ILS 06, call established, windmill 711. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I am could just activate the localizer or arm the localizer, lock armed.
Channel 1 Golf Echo, Barcelona, hello, cleared to Manchester via the Meadows 2 Charlie departure.
Ah, beautiful.
Runway
Look at that.
01,
There's the
initially
airport.
climb 6,000 feet, squawk 6276.
So we now cleared the approach. So these are all above 3,000. So what we can do is work out the the intercept
X1 Golf Echo Rita, correct?
with the glide slope. So 4,000 would mean about 12 miles from the ILS if it's a 3-degree glide slope.
Out of Valencia, climbing
So-
to 3,300.
Lock star.
Barcelona, hello.
So we have a couple of miles. Already at flaps 1.
Squawk 6270,
That's a
Valencia,
beautiful
98,
view.
Tango.
Control, good evening, Griffin 9 Echo Delta, flight level 256, climbing to flight level 360.
Griffin 9 Echo Delta, Barcelona, hello. Identified, continue climb flight level 360.
Continue climb flight level 360, Griffin 9 Echo Delta.
Windmill 711, establish localizer 06.
Windmill 711, Roger, continue approach number 2.
Continue approach, windmill 711.
And Windmill 711, just for your information, traffic ahead 10 miles.
Yeah.
He is on final approach, but he's already like 6 miles final runway 06.
Okay, that's copied. Thank you. We'll adjust windmill 711. Yeah, that's fine. Should be no problem for us. So that's all done. Just a tad of tailwind, not much though. I mean, 1 knot. So, but I'm going to put the flaps to 2. I'm going to go to selected speed. I'm going to go to 170 knots. Flaps 2.
Vueling 753, contacte con Barcelona Norte en 132,580.
Contacto con Barcelona Norte.
Hey Casper.
Kilo Papa.
And Flightstream, hello.
Contacto radar, continua ascenso, nivel de vuelo 370.
That's good. So cockpit simulator support with the MCU coming soon. That's nice. That's good to hear. Okay, here comes the glide slope. We said about 12 miles, right? So for each 1,000 feet, it's 3 miles in distance. Simple mathematics.
Next one, Golf Hotel, push and start approved, facing south, QNH 1013.
Now that's how pros.
Oh, and we... yeah, glide slope. And we have Captain
711, contact Ibiza Tower 118, decimals 505.
118,505. Muchas gracias. Adios from Windmill 711.
Adios.
So there we go. Nice. So here we go. 18505. Just going to dial down the lights just a tad. Actually, let me put this to dim. That should dim down the lights here. Do you see that? Excellent. Ibiza Tower, Buenos Tardes. No, Windmill 711 is on the ILS 06.
Windmill 711, Ibiza Tower. Lovely call time, by the way. Continue approach number 2. The traffic ahead is 12 miles ahead.
Okay, that's copied. We continue approach. Windmill 711. Thank you.
Cabin crew seats for landing.
Yeah, no, that's because FSLabs, like labs, right? So of course it's not a good. Yeah, Tornado. Nice to see you, Tornado. Have a good one. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me do some hand flying. Let's see if we can. Cat 1. I'll leave the flight directors on for now. Here comes gear down. Speed managed.
2,500.
It is checked. Flaps 3. Speed check. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. Speed check. Flaps 4. Spoilers armed. And gonna wait for the landing checklist.
Ibiza Tower, good evening. Tom Det 53 Hotel, Boeing 738.
Oh, okay, you're gonna wait for the landing. Okay, that's cool.
QNH 1012, request to clearance.
One difference I already noticed, and I'm not sure
Ibiza Tower, number 1 for clearance.
if I'm so.
Windmill 711, wind 080 degrees, 7 knots, runway 06, clear to land.
Runway 06, clear to land, windmill 711. The pitch has become a
welcome
lot more sensitive.
Taxi to stand 29er. The Golf 2, welcome.
Taxi gate 29 via Golf 2, Lisbon 1.
That feels a lot different.
53 Hotel, Ibiza.
So it takes very little inputs.
Subject 53 Hotel, flash message.
And Tomjet 53 Hotel, you are clear to destination Gatwick.
Well,
via
the flare here, it doesn't float like the Phoenix.
From 06.
So that's something you can definitely say already.
Squawk 6235.
Landing checklist. Ikamima landing no blue.
Thank you, clear to Gatwick.
Landing checklist complete.
Foxtrot departure, runway 06, initial climb 4,000 feet, squawk 6235, Tomjet 53 Hotel.
Start that sound a bit here.
Tomjet 53 Hotel, ready for correct.
There we go. Lights on. And let's concentrate on the landing. What's the fuel say? 2.8 tons. So that's actually pretty good. I don't know how to do that with the fuel flow being a bit different to the flight plan, but 1,000 checked. So 2.8 tons is a good prediction. That's pretty much what we had on the ground after we loaded the winds. Now, one thing I still don't like is the pitch. I mean, that's flaps full. The pitch at 4 degrees. Well, actually, let me try to get a normal pitch value or descent rate going. Then we can have a look at. Okay, disregard. So no, that was me just flying a little bit off the values, the normal values. So now about 2.5 degrees on speed. Now if I want to break the sink rate just a tad, well, it's getting more to 4 degrees. I have a feeling that the pitch is a little bit too high. But again, I mean, it's been a while.
100 above. 300.
Right, I'm not really good at maintaining the glide. So let me switch to the PARPI lights. Continue. All over the PARPIs there. Blimey.
50, 40, 30. 20, retard, 10, retard, 5.
Alright. Speed brakes, reverser green, and decel. Alright, let me take this exit if I can.
Auto brake off.
Auto brake off. Thank you for the warning. There we go. That's I wanted to check that obviously, because if you get below, is it 50 knots or something, then it doesn't do that auto brake off call.
Windmill 711, welcome to Ibiza. Taxi to stand 28 via Tango and Golf 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform
Via Tango Golf 2, stand 8. Thank you much from Windmill 711.
Until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched on.
And Windmill 711, just to confirm, the stand is 28.
Stand 28. Thank you. Copied via Tango Golf 2. Thank you.
Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket underneath
Dankeschön, Tornado.
the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case any.
So Tango is next left.
Until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today.
It has been absolutely our pleasure. Oh no, is that a mosquito? No, it's not. I honestly, I don't think it's FS realistic. I could check again in my folder, but I don't know if I have FS realistic running here. But who knows? I just may have forgotten. So, I'm going to put stand 28 in here for GSX. So flaps are up, spoilers retracted. Then we've got the parking stands. So 28 is here, and Golf 2 is right there. So it's going to be pretty soon to the right. Okay, so one thing again I've noticed is that it is a bit more twitchy in the pitch axes. Now, at least in the flare, I had the feeling that my stick inputs did work, because I oops, that's my reverse selector. So I did. Here's Golf 2. So yeah, I remember the last time that I went into the flare, the aircraft just wouldn't react at all, literally, and then yeah, but that could be a head check, could be maybe from chase plane.
Start approach, QNH 1012, will go, Tomjet 53 Hotel.
Yeah, so VRAM, let me have a look in a minute. So apparently they made some changes to it. So be advised though, I'm using a 4K monitor. Hold on. So performance, GPU.
Another 217 flying off, thank you for the ATC, bye bye.
Thanks very much for flying, bye.
I mean, 20 gigabyte GPU memory, but that's a lot. So I'm not sure. Here's 31. I'm not sure. That actually is a lot more than I imagined. Oh, hang on. That's 29. Okay. So Fly Skies Low says for him it's FSLabs 11, PNG is 9. No, I'm just using stable versions. I never use any beta versions here. I can see the stand there. The reason why I'm using 2020 is because I have a problem with 2024. It freezes my streaming software from time to time. It doesn't do that with the 2020, but it does do that with 2024. Which of course is a nightmare for me as a streamer. And it's completely unpredictable. So quick there. I still haven't quite figured out the braking force I need. Right, at least that's now set. So we have the APU not running yet. Test. My co-pilot. Dome light on. Yeah, Turbine Studio, right. And the thing is that if I look at the amount of performance requirements for 2024 on my system, it just impacts it a lot more. And I struggle more with FPS in 2024, and I have a feeling it has to do with the 4K monitor setup. That's a nice airport.
Tomjet 53 Hotel, request taxi.
Tomjet 53 Hotel, taxi to holding point 8.
Tail West, thank you much. Have a good night.
Be Golf 1 and Tango.
Thanks for watching. It's nice to see you here.
Taxi Echo 9, runway 065, Golf 1 and Tango, Tomjet 53 Hotel.
APU available, fantastic. Let's put the APU bleed on. Let's cut. There we go. Engine spooling down.
Cabin crew, thank you very much for your hard work today. Your doors are clear to open.
Good. Then we'll put this to standby. Going to turn off mode Charlie. Stand by, fantastic. And I think now we can read a checklist. So let's read the... after landing was done, radar pitot was off, and then we got parking checklist, parking brake start shock, parking brake is set, engines off, and fuel pumps off. And that's the parking checklist. Cool. Okay, guys. Very quick change. So I'm just going to check my tech logbook, make sure nothing more is broken. Landing rate -175. That's fairly consistent.
Ladies and gentlemen, your portable
Although it's a bit long flare, really. But
until you are inside the airport.
I'm alright with that.
When disembarking,
Cool.
please take care and hold
So,
on
one more thing to do is I'm going to send off my...
Please ensure that you supervise your children, and for your own safety, do not walk underneath the wheel.
In its next page, hang on, there we go. So there it was. So send that. Perfect. Cool. I'll be back in about 10 minutes for the next flight. I'm going to fly from Ibiza to Gibraltar. And again, that airport looks nice. Looks good. Thanks so much, everyone. If you're not watching the next flight, say a big thank you to, let me say a big thank you to everyone supporting. Thanks to my moderators, as always. And for those that do want to see a second flight, give me about 10 minutes. I'll be back. See you soon.